Every time you try to prove that you are right, you are only hurting yourself. They will not trust you. They will not even listen. Every time you give feedback to someone, there is a risk. They may become defensive. Have you ever experienced that? So let me help you by telling you the fable of the north wind and the sun. Once upon a time, they decided to make a traveler take off his coat. The wind blew as hard as possible, but it didn't work. It only made the traveler hold his coat tighter. But then the sun had a different approach. It just warmed the traveler. And then the traveler decided to take off the coat on his own. So the lesson here is that pushing creates resistance. Remember this. When you feel misunderstood in communication, probably your first reaction is going to try harder. You might believe that if you repeat your points with more clarity, they will finally understand you. But that does not work. It just makes the other person even more defensive. Every time you're giving logical feedback, there is a risk that the other person will shut down or feel attacked. You only make them cling harder to their original positions. This is very similar to the traveler holding his coat against the wind, right? So stop trying to prove that you are right. Start making them feel safe. Because a threatened brain cannot listen to your logic. Do you know what is the biggest lie in communication? It is believing that if you use the right words, there will be clarity and logic, and the communication will be good. And that is not the case. Listen, the reason why your communication fails is because there is a huge difference between what you want to say and what the other person felt. You may think that you have good intentions, but good communication is not about what is in your heart. It's not about what you want to say. Good communication it is about what the other person heard, felt, and understood. These are completely different things. And there are even books written about this challenge, this trap. There is one here by the Harvard Negotiation Project that explains it really, really well. You might want to help when you're correcting somebody, but the impact is that they're going to be feeling criticized. And when people feel blamed, their brains just stop listening. They care more about feeling safe than understanding your message. So you must take responsibility for what they hear. Change your focus from winning the argument to making them feel safe. But how can you make someone feel safe when the conversation is already difficult and tense? The answer has nothing to do with the words that you choose. You have to calm down your own nervous system first. You cannot make someone else feel safe while your own brain is preparing to fight. Now that you know that the goal is safety, look at what's going on, what happens inside of your body. When a conversation gets heated, you don't just lose patience, you lose access to a part of your brain that is able to solve problems. When you get upset, your amygdala sounds an alarm. The amygdala is the part of the brain that fights for survival. So when the amygdala sounds an alarm, your body gets flooded with stress hormones. And the stress hormones will block access to your prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain that helps you to think clearly, to feel empathy. So basically, you stop communicating, you start reacting. And to get the result you want, you must calm down before you speak. Don't reply immediately to some angry email of your coworker. You can draft it, but think about it later. At home, your spouse having an argument, don't raise your voice. Pause. This is not a sign of weakness. That's the only way for you to keep your reasoning. Once your brain's calm, then you can finally speak. But the way you speak needs to change. The style that feels more natural to you is exactly what is triggering the defense of the other people. So stop using emotional intensity to prove your point. Keep it short so they can follow your instructions. So now that you manage to get your body to be calm, what are you going to say? If you're upset, you're going to be probably speaking in a harsh tone or with heavy frustration. You might think that this intensity shows that you care about the problem, but the other person will only feel like they're being attacked. Long, frustrated complaints, they don't work. So keep your message short, strip away the frustration, state the facts, say what happened, say how you felt, say what you would like next time. For example, if you're talking to your spouse, say, when the plans changed without telling me, I felt ignored. I would like to know beforehand next time. So this is giving instructions that other people can understand and follow. This is not attacking, so they don't have to defend. If you want to improve yourself every day, I invite you to visit the link arata.se/personal development. There's so much for us to learn. Keep your message simple. That's the first step. But you also have to ask them to change their behavior. And if you ask that in the wrong way, well, the fight will start all over again. So ask questions instead of making statements. This removes the blame, so then you can turn the fight into a partnership. Let's look at how you can ask for a change. When you make a strong statement, you make the listener feel threatened. And the same thing happens when you ask a question starting with the word why. The moment they hear why, they feel judged and they stop listening. They start to plan their defense. Why? Well, because of that, right? And the collaboration is going to be difficult. So to pass this, you have to use an open-ended perception question. Change a blaming statement into a question using what or how. So instead of saying, why did you miss that detail? You can ask, how did the timeline shift? Instead of saying you're not listening, you can say, what do you think that we can do to make this work better? So you remove the blame. You give the other person a sense of safety. And this changes the conversation from fight to a partnership. And once you have that partnership, there is one final step that you have to take before you finish. If you skip this, the whole conversation was a waste of time. You have to end every conversation with a clear agreement. If you leave without deciding the next steps, the whole talk is a waste of time. The final step, it protects the hard work that you just did. Most conversations fail at the very end. You finish talking, you walk away, and then in the end, nobody knows what was decided. So if you make sure that everybody agrees before you walk away, nobody feels confused. Don't just finish and walk away. Prepare the end of your conversation. Ask them, okay, so what are we going to be doing next? Review what you agreed on. When you leave a conversation with absolute clarity, you stop fighting the same battles every single week, and then you finally get to build the relationships that make people feel safe. So to communicate effectively, you have to stop focusing on what you meant to say. Start focusing on what the other person heard and felt. You also have to calm your body before you speak. You must keep your message short and clear. You have to ask questions instead of making statements. This all will create safety instead of resistance. And finally, you have to end every conversation with a clear agreement. Then you can stop managing conflict and you can start connecting with the people who are around you. You see, connecting with others does not happen by accident. It requires you to control your automatic reactions, build self-awareness, and intentionally train your mind. This kind of inner work is the true foundation of personal development. So if you're ready to stop letting your emotions sabotage your leadership and start building the skills that can elevate your entire life, I invite you to visit the link arata.se/personal development.